Hi, I'm Canigiani. Since 2007, we produced the Canigiani Christmas Light Show. My favorite part of the show is coming out every night and meeting a lot of the guests that come out to see us. We have people from all over the Pottstown area, the Gilbertsville area, the Boyertown area. Some folks even come from out of state. We've even had a couple of international guests come out to see our show. One of the most common themes that I hear from a lot of our guests are, when do you start to set things up, and how do you set things up? What I'd like to do for you today is show you how we set some of the things up in the show. It's mid-September right now, and we've just gotten started. The first thing we're going to do is put the Bethlehem Star on the top of the house here. The Bethlehem Star has around 175 incandescent C9 lights, which consume about 1,225 watts of power. This is roughly the same amount of electricity that it takes to run a common household vacuum cleaner, which is a lot of power. To cut down on that consumption, what we'll do is we'll oftentimes run the lights at around 50%, sometimes at 25%. So what I'd like to do today is show you how we go ahead and install the star, and we'll walk you through everything. Come on, let's go take a look. The very first thing that we need to do is come down the ladder and pick up the foreman, who needs to be taken up to the porch roof. From here we have all of the materials that we need to put the Bethlehem Star on the top of the roof. It'll come in two sections, the frame, the star, and what we need to do now is start to pull the ladder up. We use a 26-foot little giant ladder for this project, and we've got it down to just a one-man job, and the way we do that is take all the materials from the ground level to the second level, the porch level of the roof, and then what we do here is we fold the ladder down and place the folded ladder against the window here. And extend the lower piece, so now we can easily take all of the materials from the first roof up onto the main roof. Now that we have the frame on top of the main roof, what we're going to do is start to walk the frame up to the peak, and we're going to straddle the frame over the peak of the house. To do this, we use a swivel design. It's an adaptation from an original design we saw from the Holdman light show many years ago. In that design, it was a rigid design that was already built on the ground. What we did was we utilized some carriage bolts and nuts, and we allowed the pieces to swivel. So it's a three-piece swivel, if you will. We'll swivel out to straddle over the top of the roof here, and then the main bracket will come up that'll eventually hold the star in place. So we're going to go ahead and set the star frame down here. And what you see, that hand signal there, is I'm signaling to Jess down below. I want to find out where the center of the house is. That way we can move the frame into place for the center. Now that we have it in place at the center, what we can do is head back down to the first roof, the porch roof, and we can start to bring up the sandbags that will hold the frame in place. Back when we designed this in 2008, we quickly realized that in 2007 we had a large amount of wind that would come through the show, and all of our designs need to accompany a certain amount of windage that comes through. So we've adapted this again using some sandbags to hold the frame down, and it's worked rather well in the last couple of years. So this is the second sandbag coming up. We have 4 80-pound sandbags that will need to come up. Unfortunately, we have to take them up one at a time. I would like to put everything on the top roof and then carry them down and go back and forth, but unfortunately we have to go up and down the ladder each time. So it does begin to get a little bit difficult. Your legs start to hurt after a while. But eventually, once you get the last sandbag up there, it's a good time to pause and take a break, which I'm about to do here. It's really a beautiful view from the top of the roof here. You can see quite a bit of ways in New Hanover Township here. And before we actually come up to start securing the frame down, We'll just take a few tools up to the top with us and get everything ready for our for the ascent up to get everything in place or get everything secured down. The very first thing that we're going to want to do here is to securely fasten each sandbag to the corner of the frame. And the purpose for this is so in case it shifts or something like that, we don't want an 80-pound sandbag to come tumbling off of the roof. What I'm using here is a very common material that's used throughout the entire light show. It's a galvanized 6-strand guy wire for antenna masts. We use it very commonly in the spiral trees and just to tie and secure various things down, such as the sandbags here. So each sandbag will get a length of wire around it, and what we'll do is we'll slip the wire underneath the frame here, put the sandbag back over top, and just twist it down in place here. Just give it a couple of twists here. And then we'll take our lineman's pliers and cut the remainder pieces off. So each corner will get the same thing done to it, the piece of guy wire, and just put our sandbag in place until we have all 4 finished up. The next step we want to do is raise the main beam here, which will hold our star in place. Just place our center beam, which attaches to the back of the frame and holds that mast up there. Using a crescent wrench, we'll tighten down the nuts that allowed the whole apparatus to stay in place there. Just to give a few turns there on each nut. And we'll do the same on all 4. Just to line up to make sure the frame is straight there. Next thing we'll do here is make sure that our center beam is in place and affix it with a few screws, 2 to 2.5 inch screws, to make sure they go through the 2x4s on all sides. And then what we'll do for good measure is just to place a few screws in each of the ridge joints here. 2 to 3 on each side will be good. And we'll want to do the same thing for the mast that holds the star up. Finally, what we'll do here is take a handful of 1¼ inch screws, and we want to fasten the center beam to the back of the frame here. This will assure that everything stays nice and tight when wind comes through, so all angles are compensated for. Next thing we do is bring the Bethlehem Star itself up to the frame, which is now securely in place. So we'll just walk that right up and set it down. Next thing we'll do here is place the Bethlehem Star against the frame, and using some 1 5/8 inch screws, we'll secure it tightly against the frame on all 3 sides there. The last thing we want to do is hook up our electric to the star itself. This is a 3-circuited element, which means that it has 3 independent circuits that power it, which gives the Bethlehem Star, if you have stopped by, you'll be able to see that the star gives the appearance of moving. We have an inner star, an outer star, and some bursts on the outside. So it makes up 3 different channels. We're plugging one in right there for the inner star, and now we have all 3 in place. We'll neatly fasten all 3 wires to the frame there, and what we'll do is we'll run the wires along the ridge and down the side of the house here, and those wires will get neatly tucked into the siding at the bottom so they won't be visible to the viewers, and we'll run right down there into the garage. Last thing we want to do is give the star a good shake and give it a push there. Make sure that it's not going to go anywhere if a good strong wind comes whipping through. Gives a wee little bit there, but all in all it's very secure in place there. Now that we've tucked our wires in, we can go ahead and lower the ladder. Lock it into place there, and just do the opposite procedure we did before. We brought it up and turned it into the A-frame. What we're going to do is whip it back out to the extension, put it down to the ground, and make our final descent. I'd like to thank you for watching our video today. We will continue to post additional videos and postings up on the Facebook page throughout the rest of the season here as we continue installation. So please feel free to stop back and check us out, and we hope to see you in November when we launch the show.